Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're taking a really deep plunge into something you probably think you know pretty well. Cybersecurity. Now, when you hear that, maybe your mind jumps straight to, I don't know, firewalls, antivirus software.
That's usually the first thought, yeah. Some kind of tech magic happening somewhere.
Exactly. But look, the critical thing we're diving into today is that real solid protection for an organization. It's way bigger than just those tools.
Much bigger. It's about balance.
Right. It's about building this strong foundation that actually works together. So this is kind of your shortcut to getting that foundational approach fast. Okay, let's unpack this, because the core idea here, robust cybersecurity, it isn't just one product. It's not just a list of rules. It really stands on what we're calling the 3 pillars of cybersecurity.
And that's precisely it. It's a common mistake, thinking you can just buy a tool or maybe write some policy document and poof, you're secure.
Right, problem solved.
Yeah, but without these 3 pillars really working together, in concert, even the best tech, the strictest rules, they can fail, they leave big gaps. So our mission today really is to understand what each pillar is, dig into the critical parts, and really talk about why each one is just completely essential for any organization. Doesn't matter the size, the industry.
Right, or how fancy their IT setup is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'll look at how they connect and why, letting even one pillar weaken just creates this fundamental vulnerability in your whole defense system.
Absolutely. So let's kick things off. Pillar number 1. I kind of see this as the bedrock, the blueprint for everything else. That's policy.
The foundation.
Yeah. And when I say policy, please don't picture some dusty old binder that nobody ever reads.
Shelfware.
Yeah, exactly. It's way more than that. This is the actual playbook for how an organization intends to protect its data, its systems, its people. And here's where it gets really interesting. Policies aren't just dry rules. They're the active definitions of expectations. For everything, really. How you handle sensitive info, what exactly happens when something goes wrong, because it probably will.
It often does.
And even how you stay compliant with all those regulations that keep changing. It's the who, what, when, where, and how of security strategy.
And what's fascinating here is just how truly foundational policy is. I mean, a strong policy pillar. It translates into very specific actionable things that guide the whole security posture.
Like what specifically?
Well, it starts with having a written information security policy.
A WSP.
Okay, a WSP.
Yeah. And this isn't just some formality. It's your organization's kind of legal and operational map for managing security. If you don't have a clear WSP, and look, a breach happens, it's often when, not if.
Right. Then your organization doesn't have a clear chain of command, no defined recovery steps. You could even face more legal trouble. The WESP dictates how you actually survive a cyber crisis. It defines roles, responsibilities, the framework for making decisions under intense pressure.
Wow. So it's not just about ticking a compliance box. It's fundamentally about resilience, about surviving a disaster. That really puts it in perspective.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just the WP. Policy also includes clearly defining acceptable use of company resources.
Ah, okay. What you can and can't do.
Precisely. Every single employee needs to know exactly what they can and cannot do with company laptops, networks, data. Can you use your personal Dropbox for work files? Probably not.
Right.
Can you install any software you find online? Definitely not.
Right.
Clear policies here stop accidental mistakes. They cut down on shadow IP risks, and they protect your digital stuff from insider threats, whether those are malicious or just, someone being careless.
Makes sense.
And crucially, it means implementing solid incident response and disaster recovery procedures. Think of it like a fire drill, but for your data in systems.
Okay, yeah, that's a good analogy.
You don't want to fire, but you absolutely practice what to do if one happens. A well-rehearsed incident response plan. That's the difference between total chaos and uncontrolled data loss versus a systematic controlled recovery when inevitably a cyber incident hits.
And without it?
Without it, incidents drag on, costs just skyrocket, and your reputation takes a massive hit. And look, this isn't a one-time thing either. Policies need regular review and updates, constantly, to keep up with new threats, new tech, changing regulations.
So how do companies actually do this? How do they build this pillar?
Well, practically, it means dedicating real time and resources, consistently, creating the policies, communicating them clearly, and then maintaining them, updating them. It often involves, internal committees, maybe a dedicated security officer, sometimes even bringing in outside experts to make sure nothing's missed.
That makes perfect sense. You need that clear playbook. Otherwise, even the best players, the best tech won't work right. But, I imagine getting employees to actually read these policies, let alone follow them, that must be a huge challenge for a lot of places.
Oh, absolutely.
What's the biggest mistake you see companies make there, trying to make policy stick?
That's a really good question, and it connects straight into the other pillars, actually.
Hmm.
The biggest mistake, often it's just a lack of communication and, frankly, accessibility.
Mm-hmm.
Policies get written in this dense technical language, maybe legal jargon.
Right, unreadable.
Exactly. And then they're buried on some intranet page nobody visits. They're not treated as living documents. To really embed them, you've got to simplify the core message. You need to push it out through multiple channels, during onboarding, regular reminders, team meetings, and make sure people understand not just what the rule is, but why it's there, how it protects them personally and the business.
Ah, the why.
Yeah, the why is critical. And this ties straight into culture, which we'll definitely get to. But without clear, accessible policies, even the most amazing technology is going to be misused or bypassed.
That really clarifies the role of policy. It's absolutely foundational, which brings us nicely, actually, to our second pillar, technology.
Right.
So if policy is the strategy, the blueprint, then technology is, well, it's the muscle, isn't it? It's the actual defensive shield that enforces those policies and supports the whole strategy.
Mm-hmm. The tools.
Yeah, the tools. The right tech stack doesn't just block attacks, although that's important.
Yeah.
It also gives you that crucial visibility into what's happening, lets you control your data, and builds resilience against, well, all those cyber threats out there. It helps you react fast.
Indeed. And technology is, like you said earlier, often the first thing people think of with cybersecurity, and for good reason. The source material we looked at points to several key components here.
Okay.
We're talking fundamentals like firewalls, the bouncer at your network's door, basically, controlling who and what gets in and out based on rules.
Got it.
Then you have intrusion detection systems, or IDS. Think of these more like digital security guards patrolling the perimeter.
Okay, watching for trouble.
Exactly. They scan network traffic for suspicious patterns, unauthorized logins, data moving where it shouldn't be. They don't necessarily block it like a firewall, but they alert you, so you can react before something small becomes a huge breach.
Right, early warning.
And endpoint protection. This isn't just your basic antivirus anymore. It's much more sophisticated software running on every device, laptops, phones, servers. It actively watches for malicious stuff, blocks known threats, and can even, quarantine a compromised machine to stop an infection spreading.
So it sounds like it's really a layered defense, not just counting on one thing.
Precisely. Layers are key.
Right.
But it goes beyond just those basics. Strong access controls are absolutely critical. And the big one here, the one that's pretty much non-negotiable these days, is multi-factor authentication, MFA.
Ah, yes, MFA, everyone's favorite extra step.
Huh? Yeah. Sometimes feels that way. But think about it like this. MFA isn't just an extra step. It's the difference between a stolen password giving an attacker the keys to the kingdom,
Right.
and that same stolen password being completely useless to them.
Yeah.
It massively cuts down the success rate of account takeovers, sometimes by 80% or even more. Without MFA, one successful phishing email could be catastrophic.
Wow, 80%. That's a huge impact. But okay, from the user side, MFA can feel like a pain sometimes, right? It adds friction. How do you roll it out effectively and get people on board without slowing everything down?
That's a very real practical problem. And again, it shows how technology and culture have to work together. The key, communicate the why. Explain how MFA protects them, their personal accounts maybe, their job, not just the company's servers. Highlight the serious risks of not using it.
Make it personal.
Exactly. And offer user-friendly MFA options, like push notifications on a phone app are generally easier than typing in codes from a physical token. Little things like that boost adoption. Then technology also relies heavily on encryption for sensitive data. Basically, digitally scrambling your information so it's just gibberish without the right key. This is vital, whether data is moving across the network, say, in an email, or just sitting on a server or a laptop. Encrypted at rest, encrypted in transit.
Got it.
And it's not just about deploying these tools once and forgetting them. Continuous monitoring and patch management are absolutely essential. Finding and fixing vulnerabilities before the bad guys find them. So many big breaches happen because of known flaws that just weren't patched.
Yeah, leaving the door unlocked.
Pretty much. So organizations build this pillar by using enterprise-grade security solutions. These are integrated platforms built for businesses, not just consumer-level stuff. It's not just buying antivirus off the shelf. It means a holistic approach security for things like Microsoft 365, advanced endpoint tools, maybe SIEM systems to centralize all the alerts, securing cloud platforms like AWS or Azure.
So it's about bringing it all together, integration, and constant vigilance. Okay, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really drives home that technology, yeah, it's powerful, incredibly powerful, but it's still a tool.
That's right.
It needs those policies we talked about to direct how it's used.
Right.
And it absolutely needs strong security culture so people actually use it effectively. Tech is only as good as the policies behind it and the people using it.
You nailed it. Which brings us perfectly to our third pillar, and honestly, often the most challenging one. Culture.
The human factor.
Human factor, the part that sometimes gets overlooked, but is so critical. I mean, think about it. An organization really is only as secure as its people.
That's a sobering thought.
It is. You can have the fanciest firewalls, the most perfectly written policies, but if one employee clicks a bad link in an email,
Poof, defense is bypassed.
instantly. This is where human behavior changes everything. The real goal here is to build a genuine security-first culture, where every single employee understands they have a vital role in protecting the business. Security becomes everyone's job, not just something the IT department worries about.
That's such a crucial distinction. It's not just IT's problem, it's everybody's responsibility. Empowering people.
Exactly, empowering them. Because, yes, the human element can be your strongest defense, or unfortunately your weakest link. So how do you build a strong security culture? Well, the source material really highlights that it starts right at the top. Leadership leading by example has a massive impact. Meaning, when the CEO, the managers, when they consistently follow the rules, they use their MFA without complaining, they lock their screens when they walk away, they don't ask for exceptions or share passwords.
Right, they walked the talk.
Exactly. It
Right.
sets the tone. It shows security isn't just some rule for others, it's important for everyone. It builds credibility. Beyond that, regular cybersecurity awareness training is just non-negotiable.
And not just the boring once-a-year click-through.
Please, no. Not that. It needs to be engaging. Use real-world scenarios. Show people what a phishing email actually looks like today, how to react if they see a weird pop-up, and again, why it matters. Phishing simulations are key here too, testing awareness in a safe way.
That sounds incredibly practical. It's like building muscle memory for security, not just facts.
That's a great way to put it. Muscle memory. And, crucially important, foster an environment where reporting suspicious stuff is encouraged without any fear of blame.
That's huge.
It really is. Nobody should feel embarrassed or worry about getting in trouble for flagging an email that looks dodgy, even if it turns out to be harmless. If people are scared to report things,
Things get missed.
they get missed, they fester, they turn into much bigger problems down the line. This pillar also includes promoting strong password practices, moving beyond just complexity rules to unique, long passphrases, maybe using password managers, and actively discouraging those risky shortcuts people sometimes take.
Like writing passwords on sticky notes.
Exactly, that kind of thing. Ultimately, it's about getting genuine leadership support for security as a core business priority. Not just an IT cost, not an afterthought. It needs to be woven into the fabric of the company.
So how do organizations actually foster this? What are the practical steps?
It's ongoing work. Continuous adaptive training, like we said, regular realistic phishing tests, leaders visibly following the policies themselves in daily work, talking about security and company communications, town halls, whatever channels you use, making it part of the company DNA.
That really hits the core of it because, you can buy technology, you can write policies, but genuinely changing human behavior, that often feels like the hardest part.
It often is.
From your experience, what's like the most surprisingly effective way to actually start building that security-first culture?
That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And you know what's often surprisingly effective? Framing security not just as a corporate rule, but as a personal benefit and a team effort.
How so?
Show people how good security habits protect their personal information too, how it protects their job security, their colleagues, the company's reputation, which impacts everyone. Make it relevant to them.
Connecting it back to the individual.
Precisely. And honestly, sometimes gamified phishing simulations work wonders. We ran one once where there was a small, fun prize for everyone who correctly identified and didn't click the simulated phishing link.
Okay.
It instantly showed everyone, leadership included, just how tricky these things can be, how easily anyone can be fooled if they're not paying attention. It wasn't about shaming people who clicked. It was a shared learning moment. It raises that important question, though. How do you make sure the human element, which can be unpredictable, becomes a real strength, not just a vulnerability you're always patching?
Yeah.
And the answer seems to be continuous, empathetic education and positive reinforcement, not just rules and punishment.
That's such a powerful idea, turning that potential weakness into a genuine strength. And it just perfectly sums up why all three pillars have to work together, doesn't it?
As
We've talked about policy as the blueprint, technology as the shield, culture as the human factor. But the core message, the real takeaway here, is that genuine, lasting protection only comes when all three are strong and reinforcing each other. So what does this all mean for you, listening right now? It means that if even one of these pillars is shaky, if one is significantly weaker than the others, well, then even your best efforts in the other areas are probably going to fall short.
Exactly. Think about it this way. A company might spend a fortune on the latest firewalls, top-tier endpoint protection, great technology, right?
Sure.
And they might have beautifully written policy, strong policy. But if their employees haven't had good training, if there isn't that security-first mindset, a weak culture,
Someone clicks the link?
someone clicks the link, they fall for a clever phishing attack, and boom,
Yeah.
all that expensive tech and careful policy gets bypassed just like that. Or flip it around. Maybe you have a great security-aware culture, clear policies, but your technology is ancient, unpatched,
Vulnerable.
highly vulnerable to automated attacks that don't even need a human mistake. Cybersecurity isn't a one-time purchase. It's not a single product. It's a continuous, living effort.
Always evolving.
Always. But organizations that really focus on strengthening all three pillars, policy, technology, and culture, they dramatically cut their risk. They boost their resilience. They're way better prepared not just to prevent attacks, but also to respond effectively when something does happen. Understanding these pillars gives you, the listener, a powerful framework. Whether you're looking at your own digital safety, or pushing for better security at work, or just trying to make sense of it all, it helps you see what real protection actually looks like.
A framework that's absolutely essential today. So as you go about your day, think about that interplay. Policy guiding the way, technology providing the shield, and a security-first culture empowering the people. When those three are working together, seamlessly, constantly, that's when you build a truly strong, resilient defense against whatever the cyber world throws at you.
And maybe leave you with this final thought to chew on. Think about the last really big data breach you heard about in the news. Could it have been stopped, or at least made less damaging, if all three of these pillars, policy, technology, culture, were equally strong? Or can you pinpoint one pillar that seemed noticeably weaker in that specific case?
That is a very thought-provoking question to consider as you navigate your own digital world. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the real foundations of cybersecurity. Stay safe out there, stay informed, and we'll catch you next time.